Okay, so came here today because you want to learn how to make chains for FiveM. Let me teach you how to do that. Let me start with the apps that you're gonna need. You're gonna need Inkscape. You're gonna need Blender. You're gonna need 3ds Max. You're gonna need OpenIV. And if you want to test it out, you're gonna need your own sandbox. Uh, Also, you're gonna need some type of photo editing app. I just use Photopea because it's free, but you can also use Photoshop. So the first thing that you want to do is go into Photopea, open up a new project. And we're just always going to do 2044 by 2044 for the width and the height. We're going to click create, and that's going to create us a new project. And what we're going to do here is we're going to create the lettering for our chain. And there's a little box here on the left-hand side. It's called text. The type tool. Click on that, and then it should allow you to put any type of lettering on here. So first thing you want to do is you want to pick your font. Right here, I have some preloaded fonts that I got from DaFonts. So what you gotta do is go to DaFonts right here, dafonts.com, and then you can pick any font you want from here. Let's pick this one right here, Rocket Brush. Download. Show in there. It's gonna come in as a zip. Extract all. Extract it to wherever you want to. It's gonna extract it straight to the downloads folder. All right, and this is gonna be the text document right here, the open type font file. So what we do is go back into Photopea, click into the fonts right next to the T, click in load font. And you see that is right here. Go to the unzipped version, click right in there. Boom. Now we've loaded it. So we scroll, click into that, click all the way down to the bottom. And then we should see Rocket. Here it is, Rocket right here. What I'm going to type in now is M-A-L-I-K. I don't really like that font, so I will just switch this one up. You can highlight the whole thing if you want to switch it up. Storm. This is my one right here. I love right here. Storm Gust. Boom. So first thing we're gonna do now is we're just gonna file and save export as PNG. And we're gonna export all of these ones as PNGs, and then we're gonna convert them to SVGs right after this. And I always want to be organized, so I'll just name this Malik 1 because we're gonna end up making 3 of these, 2 or 3 of these, depending on how you want to do it. But I just always make 3 just in case. And then so the next part is we're gonna right click onto this text layer. So we're clicking into the properties of this text layer, and then we're gonna click into blending options. Move this over here. And what we want to do is we're going to want to make the different layers of the actual chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into stroke right there. And you see as soon as I clicked it, it got a little bit bolder. So let me put it back to 0. Enter. So there's no stroke on it. So what the stroke is just adding an outline to every edge of this, every edge and surface of this word. So right now it's at 1. So I'll put it at 10. That's usually what I do. I usually do the base one, which is 0, nothing at all. Then I do 10. Press OK. You can even get a better view on it right here to see exactly how the layers are going to do, and you can play around with it like this. But make sure when you save it, you always switch it back to black. And so you got to think of this like this would be if my chain was iced out and green, the green part right here would be the outline that people see on the chain. So leave it like that. All right. And that's going to be my second layer. That's always going to be my second layer. I usually put the second layer anywhere from 10 to 20, maybe like usually around like 10 to 15, but I usually stay around. Okay. Then we're gonna go to file again, and then we're gonna export it as PNG again. This time we're gonna name it Malik 3, Malik 2. Right there. Then we're gonna go right back into the properties of that text layer and go to blending options again, click into stroke, and then we're actually gonna put it up one more time, and we're gonna put it up to say 25, and then we'll see this is gonna be the final layer of the chain. So it's like the back plate of the chain. And yeah, do 25, and you can kind of see what it looks like. That's cool. Okay. 30. You see, it just gets a little bigger the higher the number goes. So let's just, I think 25 probably best. Cool, cool. All right. Then one more time, we're going to file, export as PNG. Name this Malik. Okay, so now we're completely done with the web browser, completely done with the photo editor, whether you're using Photopea or not. So now what you want to do to stay organized is you're going to want to have somewhere, most likely on your desktop, wherever you save files at, and then you're going to have a folder for your chains, all the chains that you make. And then just all the chains that I've made over the time. And then what I'm going to do, this folder, I'm going to right click, new folder. And then I'm going to call this folder Malik because I'm just going to name it after the chain. It's the simplest thing to do. And then I'm also going to pop open the downloads right there, just because I know I'm going to need that a little later in time. And then I'm going to open up the folder called Malik. Right click, create another folder called 3DS. Rename this folder 3DS. All right. Moving kind of slow. There we go. All right, rename this to 3DS. And then we're going to also create one more folder. This folder, we're going to call this one Malik Full Chain. All right, cool. So now, next thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to open up our first application, which is Inkscape. And what we're going to do with this application is we're going to take the PNGs that we just created and we're going to convert them into SVGs so they can be imported into Blender. So what I like to do is I like to open up all three of the pictures. All right. So now that I have all three of them open by clicking File and Open, and then clicking on all three of the PNGs, what we're going to want to make sure that we have open is this trace bitmap. And if you don't see it over here, which if you open it for the first time, you most likely won't, you can just click right, which one is it? I believe it is extension under path. Oh yeah, under path right here, trace bitmap. Select that or click Shift Alt B, and then this will pop up now. And once this is up, you'll know because you'll see it on this tab right here. So what we're gonna have to do now is click that, and you'll know that you applied it, or you know that you have it started because you'll see the picture on the right hand side, and then you click apply, and the picture will disappear, and you'll know that it worked because the box will shrink to the actual letters. And what you want to do is you want to hold Control and scroll your wheel in as much as possible to any side that's touching the line, but you want to make sure that it's touching the line. So scroll into it, scroll into as much as possible, and then you see this fuzzy part right here. Click that fuzzy part until you see this picture pop up, and then press backspace until you see it crisp up and removes that fuzziness. And then now you're done. So you go to File, and then click Save As, and then just click Save. And it's going to save it right to your downloads. And then you can exit out of that, and we're going to rinse and repeat with the next two. So click into the middle. You'll see that it worked because you'll see the picture pop from the side. Click Apply, and then you'll scroll into the part that is touching the dotted line until you see the fuzzy line. Click onto that fuzziness, and then once you see the picture pop up right there, press backspace until you see that fuzziness get removed and it get turned into an SVG. So now we save as SVG, save right there. Next I'll save to the downloads, exit out of there, and onto the last one. Click into that, and then we're going to see it pop up right there. Click apply, and then we're going to see the lines shrink down to the actual word. And then again, hold Control, scroll into this fuzzy part right here, right on the edge. And wherever you hold Control, wherever your mouse is at, when you use the scroll wheel, that's where it will scroll. So then you're going to want to click right there until you see the box pop up again on the right, and press backspace until you see it disappear. And save as. Boom. And boom, now we're done with our second application. So now what you're going to do, why I opened up the downloads earlier, because now that we got all those downloaded, we're going to keep everything organized. We don't necessarily need the PNGs, but we'll save these SVGs. So copy, highlight all of those, and copy that into the folder that we created for the chain. And if you want to even get more organized in this, you can create a folder for the SVGs, but I find that that's not entirely necessary. And then now we're going to go into Blender, which is our first 3D modeling application. I will make videos on how to install all of these apps, but right now I'm basing this video on that you already have all these applications downloaded and installed properly. So right here, you're gonna instantly just click on the screen and click A, and that's gonna select everything. And then after you click A, you want to click delete, which is going to delete all those objects because that's just the starting object that it puts onto your screen when you open up Blender every time. Open up a new project in Blender. And now we're going to click File, and then we're going to import scalable vector graph, which is the SVG files that we just created. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to, this is all the files. This is like the same path that you would take if you're on your desktop. So click desktop, and then whatever folder that was in. So it's in my chains, and it's in Malik. And then now we got the first one right there. And you see it just placed it right there in that quadrant. We're going to do that again for all 3 layers before we start messing with anything. All right, so File, Import, Scalable Vector Graphics, and then click the final SVG. And we want to import them all at the same time so they all layer right on top of each other. Just like so. And then once we have them all layered on, we're going to go to the left-hand side and click Move. And it's going to pop up these arrows right here. So these arrows allow us to move whatever's highlighted up, down, left, right on all 3 of the axes, on the X, Y, and Z axis. So we're going to just move it up on the Z axis, which is the blue one. And then we're going to go down to the second layer, and we'll see that the second layer is highlighted. And then we're going to go up again, just so we have them all separated. So I'm going to go back to the first layer. And then on the right-hand side, you want to go down to this very bottom one that's called material. It kind of looks like a ball or a world, a red world. And then right here, you see there's one material, and you just want to press the minus sign to remove that material. And you'll know that the material got removed once you see that this disappear and this goes away. Just like so. Perfect. So now there's no material there, and this is went white. So now we're gonna go to the thing right above that, which is the data path, the data tab, and then we're gonna see we don't have to touch anything up here. We're gonna go down to geometry, open that up, and then we're gonna extrude this. So we're just gonna click on this thing one time, boom, and that pops this out right there. So it's gonna give it that 3D effect for that one layer. And now we're done with this layer. So right click that layer, and then we're gonna go down to convert to, only with that layer selected, and we're converted to a mesh. And what that does is that it just changes it into like the actual material that it needs to be. And then you'll see an upside down triangle right here on that path now. Right? And now we're going to the second one. Then we'll do the same thing. Go to material, press the minus sign, remove that material, see that it goes white. Then go up to the data tab, and go to geometry, press extrude one time. And then we can right click, convert to mesh, right click, set, and then we're also going to right click it and then set origin to geometry. And that is going to move those arrows right into the middle of the object. It's going to make it easier for us to move the object up, down, left, or right on all the axes. So I'm going to go back up to that first one and do the same thing. Set origin to geometry. All right. Click on grease. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to go down to the final layer. We're going to do the same thing. Go down to material first. Remove that material. Watch it go white or gray. Then go up to the data tab on geometry. This one you can play around with a little more. If you want to make your chain a little thicker, you can make it go twice. I mean, I don't think anything more than 2 clicks would be more, but of course, this is your chain. You can make it however you want to. But I'm gonna leave it at 1 for now. Oh, another cool little trick that I have that I don't see a lot of people showing is that you go right here and click onto the depth right underneath where it says round object and profile. You'll see a field named depth. Type 0.003. And that rounds off the edges, so it gives like kind of a cleaner look. And then you're going to do the same thing. Right click, convert to a mesh, right click, set origin to geometry. So now we have all our 3 layers ready for our chain. And now all we got to do is merge those layers together, drop that down there. Then we can highlight both of them just by clicking right here and then dragging, and it'll highlight whatever you highlight. So it'll highlight all 3, then I can move all 3. But right now I only want to move these 2, so I'm gonna highlight these 2. And then now the arrows are controlling both of them. Scroll it down. Here we go. Boom. Just like that. It says Malik. And now what I'm gonna do is highlight everything and press RX70. And what that does is that it rotates it on the x-axis to like the 70 degree, pretty much. And that's just that's a good angle for it to hang on the chain. So that's just always what I do, RX70. Now if you have some chains, which of course if you guys buy my package, you'll definitely have all the same chains that I have right here, which is over 100 different chain models. And this is where we're gonna actually pick the chain models and put them in our folder and then add them onto our actual chain. So let's go to our chains, and this will be in whatever folder that you hold your chain files in. This will be the same thing. So right now, I'll just pick any random chain. Let's go with this one. I would download 3D Viewer as well too, so you can preview your 3D models and your 3D chains, stuff like that. It's cool right there. Cool, cool, cool. And I also have different styles like chokers and stuff like that as well. Boom. So let's just use this one. All right, copy this. There we go here. Let's go back to our chain. So remember wherever we had your chain at, it was called Malik for me. So I'm gonna go to the Malik folder, and then I'm going to paste that chain model in there just so I can have everything organized and everything in one spot. All right. And I think I'm gonna show you how to just add a pendant on there as well, just to come full circle. So let's go back, back, back. Okay, sauce, files. And I would keep your model chain separate from your pendants that you have. Just makes everything a little cleaner. You know what? Actually, I'll just do the name. I'll just do the name chain actually for this video, and then on the next video, I'll show you how to put the pendant in. Okay, so now going back to Blender, we're completely done with crafting the name. So now we're just gonna have to add in the actual file that is our chain model. And for that, we're gonna have to do wavefront obj. Go down to File, Import, wavefront obj. And then again, just like it would be on your desktop, wherever you keep your actual models at, your chain files at, you go back to the chains, and then you go into the chain folder that we just downloaded and copied the chain into, and then boom, it's gonna be right there. Here we go. Now, some chain models will come with a bunch of different objects that you can section off and put different colors on and different textures on. But a lot of times they will just come as one full thing, and you might have to section them off yourself. And I can definitely show you guys how to do that in other videos as well too. But for right now, for the sake of this, I am actually going to just Control J. What's this as well too? Okay, that's what that is. So now that I highlighted everything, you can see everything that is highlighted on that side as well too. And then what I'm gonna do right here, because I just want this all to be one chain. Oh, actually, let me see. All right, let me see right here. And if you want to rename anything so you can read it better and structure everything better, all you have to do is double click on the actual name itself. And I'm going to put diamonds glow, because I'm gonna actually have these glow. I like to just pretty much try to separate things as much as possible, as soon as possible. Okay, perfect. Now, what we're gonna do is gonna move this up here. We're gonna try to merge these two things together. And then so you use these arrows to move all the letters. So you never want to move the chain. You always want to move the letters. You always, once you import the chain, leave it in that spot, just because it's going to stay in whatever position that you exported in. It's going to be in that same position in the next program that we're in, and it's going to cause you a little bit of trouble when putting it on your pad. So only move the letters. And right now I'm shrinking the letters down to a cool size. Put it on there. You can scroll in and out with the scroll wheel. And if you hold the scroll wheel, that's how you rotate, just like that. And if you want a more controlled zoom in and zoom out, hold the control wheel. I mean, hold control and hold, and then click on the scroll wheel and hold it, and then move in and out like so. And if you want to scoot over, you hold the shift button and then hold the control wheel down, and then left, right, up, down. It's just like that. Those are like the three main things you need to know. And if you want to quickly scale something down, you got to press the S key, and then you'll see those dotted lines come in. And when you move your mouse in and out, it'll just start to scale bigger or smaller. And you just left click when you want to get the right position. And let's say that I scale it, make it way too big. or let's say that I take this layer and move it too far off, all you're gonna need to do is Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Just keep pressing Control Z until everything kind of goes back to where you had it. Now that's right there. All right. Boom. And we pretty much have chain major right there. So now what I like to do here, which is not always necessary with these newer servers, but I'm going to see how many verticals this is gonna like how many verticals this is gonna take. So you want to keep it under 100,000 usually, but some people even want it smaller, lower than that. But usually I try to keep it around 100,000, and most servers, server owners don't really complain about that. All right, so right now we're at 93,000. Let's say that we wanted to cut that down a little bit. What I would start to do then is I would click on these letters right here. So you see how that when I click on that layer, it's 20,000 of the 90,000 already, just on this object. And then I'll hold shift and I'll click another object, hold shift and I'll click another object, and it just adds that on top of it. So now with both of those objects combined, it's 30,000 of the 90,000. And then I'll click on this last one, which is 47,000. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna press tab, which takes me into edit mode. And then you know you're in edit mode because you start seeing the lines on the lines connecting all the verticals and stuff like that, all the points. And then you're gonna click A because that selects everything right here. And then once everything is selected, in the top left, you're gonna click mesh, go to cleanup, and then decimate geometry. And then click into the little pop-up window that comes in the bottom left, click 0.5 and enter. And what that is going to do is that's going to literally half all the verticals that you have for everything that you have highlighted. And normally the first go around doesn't do too much for the letters, but sometimes that can mess up the chains. So press tab to see what you did, and if it still looks good, then you still have more room to play with. And you see the total went down to 70,000. So you press tab again, and everything still should be highlighted. Then you click mesh and clean up and decimate geometry. But this time when you click it, it'll automatically do it. You're not going to press 0.5 again. So now everything that I've selected, which was at 47,000 verticals, is now only at 12,000 verticals, and it still looks perfectly good. Nothing is wrong with this at all. So boom, we got this whole thing down to 58,000 verticals, which is more than enough. Okay, so earlier I labeled this layer as diamond glow because I want these ones to glow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna merge the layers that I want to glow first. So let's say I think this layer right here. It's always good to zoom in and click on the actual picture. So click that layer right there. This is the layer that I want to glow red. Let's just do red, and or we'll do like teal or something. So click that layer and then click this layer right here. So now the only two objects that I have collected, the layers that I have selected, are this outline of Malik and the dots of the diamonds. And I'm going to make those glow a different color. So I'm going to press Control J to merge those. So now what that means is that they're all one object now. And if I was to move that, it would move everything that I just selected. I'm going to press Control Z to move it all back. All right. So now everything else is going to be iced out. So now all I literally need to do is highlight everything on that side except for the first layer. So make sure that those two are separate, and press Control J. And let's go there. Sometimes you have to do it in sections. Control J. Right there. All right. Control J. That. Control J. That. And J. That. Sometimes it's a little finicky, but you should be able to join everything. There we go. Boom. Control J. So now I'm going to rename this to iced. Because that'll just, and you can delete these other folders, these other like collection sections. Right? So highlight them all and press the delete button. And you can even delete this top one if you want to. It's not going to delete the object inside of it. So right now we have two layers, the iced layer and the glowing layer. Now we're gonna have to go back through these and remove the materials, because when we introduced this chain, it also had materials with that chain. So we're gonna click on both the layers, or click on one of the layers, go down to the bottom one again, which is material, and then we're just gonna keep subtracting until we don't see anything else, until it's just all blank. And then we're gonna go up to the next one and do the same thing until it's all blank. All right. So we'll start with this iced layer. We want to make this dance. Now this method right here is from um, a dude named Ace on YouTube. Y'all should definitely check him out. I learned this from him. Got his course and learned everything from bro. It's like it's the iciest method out there. I promise you, it's gonna have this stuff dancing. You press new. Let me start over. So right when you're instilling materials, you're gonna press new with everything gone. So now you have a new material that you're creating yourself. You're gonna go down to the one white section. It's called base color, and click the yellow dot. And when this screen pops up, you're gonna click image texture. And now when that opens up, you're gonna click this open button right here. And again, once you buy the course, you'll see all of the you'll have all the textures that I have, and then again, you should have it organized in a even probably in a better fashion than I do. So inside of my folder, chain folders, I'll label it as textures. You're gonna have all your textures separated, and these are just textures that I've created over time. And the best format for these textures are going to be a DDS file, and I'm gonna make a video on that later on how to convert your textures, create textures and convert them to DDS. But for now, we're just gonna click this one. All right. And in the top right, you'll be able to see these four little balls, I should say. And right now, you're on the solid layer, and you can always click the material view, and it should show you. It will show you what your chain's gonna look like with the material on it. It's just a little slow right now, probably because of the recording. Oh, I put the wrong material on there. But you see, let me redo that. So what you're gonna do is click new, base color, image texture, open, and then we are going to. And when you click into it beforehand, it remembers what you clicked into recently. So sometimes it'll show up in your recents, but I'll show you from the beginning. Go to chainsaws, go to my textures, and then we're gonna do. Let's try this one. Full diamond plated. Cool. And now once you click in the top right, you'll see the material view, and this will show you what your chain looks like with the material on it. And right now you can see it's very messed up, so wavy and not how you want it to be. So what we're gonna do now, press tab, and then you see only some of it is selected. We're gonna press A to select everything, press U, and then it's gonna pop up this little menu right here, and then we're gonna press cube projection. And you're gonna see it change a little bit, but we're not done there. We're gonna go to UV editing. And what this is how we're gonna put the texture on it properly. So on the right hand side, scroll in and do everything I taught you as far as holding shift and holding control to zoom in to the perfect amount. And we're just gonna get it to where we can see the texture. Boom. Now we can see, press that little button right here for the texture view. See the textures. So now on the left hand side, click A to select everything. Click S to scale it up again. And it's only gonna whatever side your cursor's on is what side the keyboard is gonna react to. So now that I pressed S on this side, it's only gonna scale this up. But as you can see on the right hand side, you might not be able to see it as well, but it's actually forming to the chain now. So let's see, right there, and then S. And you want to make these dots really small. You can play around with the actual, how big, how much you want to zoom in and out of it, but that's exactly how you're going to do it. All right, so now we're done with that one. Press layout. Now we can see it's not all wavy. It looks like a bunch of diamonds inside the letters and on the outside, and you can see the chain actually coming together. All right, so now let's go to the glowing part. So now we're gonna go to the glow. We're gonna click onto the next section. So you should, at this point, you should only have two objects: the object for your ice and the object for the glow. This is a method for only two colors, I should say. This method only works for two colors. And so now when we're on the other one, when it's empty, we're gonna press new, and then we're gonna click this yellow dot inside of base color. We're gonna click image texture, and then we're gonna click open. And then again, textures is right here in your recent, so you can just click straight into that. And then I'm going to click teal. Let's just go with that one. And you see it's wavy, it's messed up, it's not how it should be. And so now we're going to do the same thing that we did last time. Click tab. You see that everything is not selected. Click A, and then click U. And then after that, click Q projection. And then you see it instantly changes it to a different view of the texture. But then we're not done. We're going to go to UV editing. And on the left-hand side, we're going to click A to select everything, S to scale it up, and we're going to keep moving it. And you see on the right hand side, as we scale it up, it moves it, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to make it super small to where it looks like a bunch of diamonds. Boom. And that's it. Go to layout. Boom. And that's how the chain looks without being in the GTA environment. But we are done making the chain. And other videos, I know they normally have you merge right here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do that in the next program, which I don't think it necessarily matters where you do that, but let's do that. Oh, and one final step before we export it is we're going to highlight everything. Click tab, A. All right. Then go to mesh again in the top left and clean up and delete loose. Right above destination geometry, click delete loose. And right there, you see I said deleted 4,000 verticals, 20,000 edges. If you don't do that, your file may not open up in 3ds. Okay, and then one thing I did forget to say is that you should save this as a template before you start merging stuff, just in case the customer wants something different or you find something that you want something different later on down the line. But I'm gonna name this Malik and save it as, and it's going to save in my desktop in my folder called Blender Projects, and I've made it a folder dedicated to that, and that's always where I save my blends to, right there. All right, so now we are done with this application. You can exit out of this. Oh, well, actually, no, you gotta go to file. Oh, I already exported it as. And then we got to file and then export as wavefront OBJ. There you go. And now we're officially done. And that's exporting it into the Blender project. All right. All right, now we're fully done, and now we can exit out. Okay. All right, now we're into the third of 4 programs that we're in, so we're almost done. Open up 3ds Max, and this is going to look a lot like Blender. It's going to do a lot of the same things, and technically you could do all of the same things. I think most of the same things in either one of the programs, but this is just the method that I know, so this is the method I think you should follow. It's the easiest one. And once you actually get rhythm or flow, this stuff starts going really, really quickly. All right. Once this gets opened up, it's going to have a couple screens in the middle that you have to X out of. It takes a while because this is a very intense program, so your computer is going to be fighting for its life, I promise you that. All right, once you see this big window, now you know you can start exiting out of stuff, exit out of that, exit out of that. And immediate first thing you want to do in the top left, you want to click perspective, click orthographic. It's going to just zoom it in a little bit, not exactly sure what that does. Then we're going to click standard right next to orthographic, high quality. Again, not sure what that does. And you will already have this on the side, this screen, but if you don't have it, you go to tools and go to screen explorer. And then next, we're going to import our chain. So we'll go file, import, and click import. And I'm gonna go to my desktop, and then I'm gonna go to Blender project because this is where I keep all of my, like I said, I save all my OBJs here. Now I'm gonna look for Malik because that's what I saved it under. Here we go. And then once it pops up there, you'll see both of the layers, and then click import. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do, like I said, we're not gonna do that last one, but we're gonna actually merge these 2 layers now. So go right here, and in the top right, we'll click this one right here, this little square box, and then it's going to be on editable mesh, and then where it says attach, click attach to where it lights up blue, and then we're going to click the other part of the chain, and you'll see that because it goes to yellow, and press OK, and then you'll know that it worked because it just merged. You'll merge both of those things into one right up here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click this little wrench over next to the square box that we're just in. We're going to click the wrench, and then we are going to open our GIMS Evo. Now, this is assuming that you have GIMS Evo downloaded for 3ds Max. I'm going to create a video on how to download GIMS Evo into 3ds Max and how to download every single app. But for now, this is assuming that you already have that. So you're going to click this little exit sign almost, or open sign, I would say. Boom. And this window will pop up. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click import. And then wherever you have all your chain files, this is going to be one of your most important files, which is your TIFF for 3ds, your TIFF files, which is your TIFF files for 3ds Max. This is what's going to import your actual skeleton that you're going to use, and you're going to be able to shape it for GTA to actually read it. So double click into your TIFF, wherever that's saved, and then you want to click this white ODD file. Double click that. It's going to open up another external dictionary, and then we're going to click select folder. That's all you need to click that one. And then you'll see it start to import the GTA skeleton. All right. And once it's imported, you'll see this report. All you gotta do is press back right there, and it'll take you back to the main screen. And for now, we can just minimize this. All right. This is our chain so far. Cool, cool, cool. And now on the left-hand side, you're gonna see another thing has popped up underneath your merged chain. So this is your chain, and this is the teeth that we just imported. And so we're gonna open this all the way up, all the way to the bottom. And then low is already gonna be selected, but if not, you're gonna hold control, click medium, and click low, and make sure both of those are selected and nothing more. And then we're gonna click delete. So you'll still see a chain, and you'll still have the high. So teeth 013 U high should still be there. So click onto that, make sure that's selected. And then what you want to do again is you want to go over on the right hand side, go to the modify box, the modify tab, which is the little box right here. And then we're going to go to editable mesh again. So right now it's not going to be on editable mesh, but we'll click on editable mesh, change everything up again. And we're going to do this one more time. We're going to attach. And now we're going to attach this to your actual chain. Boom. Press OK. So now it's all attached. And then step that we're going to do in here is we're going to click this cube right here, which is element, which is going to open up all of these options. So boom, open up all of the options, scroll down, and where you see it says material, and underneath set ID, there will be an empty box. Drop that down, and then it'll be 3 options. And then you want to click the top one, which is teeth diff 013 uni 1. It's always going to be the top option. Click on that one, and you'll know it's the right option because the chain that you imported from the teeth will highlight red, and then you're just going to delete. So delete that section to where there's only two materials now. Right, and then scroll back up to the top, click the element button again to hide all of that, and then we're going to click skin right above editable mesh. And once this pops up, we're going to click edit envelopes, and right underneath where it says blend weights, you'll see where it says bones, and we're going to remove all 3 of these ones until it's only skeleton spine 3 left. So remove, remove, remove. Now skeleton spine 3 is the only thing that's left. You see a little bit of red throughout the chain. That's exactly what we want. Scroll down a little further, and right here in the weight properties at the very bottom, it's going to say paint weights. We're going to click that to where it turns blue, and then the checkbox right below that, we're going to uncheck that. And then right inside the actual editor, we're actually going to click the chain until everything turns red, or everything is highlighted. All right, and once that's happened, we're going to select paint weights again to where it's not blue anymore. Scroll back up to the top, select edit envelopes to where that's not blue anymore. Go back to editable mesh. And now we're done with that portion. So we're going to go back to, we're going to open this back up right here. So we should just minimize it. So it should just be able to pop it right back open. And we're going to click material editor. And now we just kind of mess with the materials back down there. So now we're going to have to go to this material right here. This very first one, just like we did on the editable mesh portion. We'll click options and then delete. We're always going to delete that first one. Boom. To where it's only two materials. And then it's going to automatically convert it to a GTA material. And it's going to turn pink. What you're going to do now is going to be list of very specific steps, so to make everything shine perfectly. So for the first option, we're going to click PED, and then parameter set, we're going to click PED emissive, because you're only going to pick PED emissive on the stuff that you want to glow. If you do not want it to glow, then do not click PED emissive. You're going to go PED. If you want it to just be regular, shiny, sparkly, then you'll be PED. But since I want this to glow, I'm going to do PED and then PED emissive. And then starting from the bottom up, I'm going to go here and turn everything on the wind section all the way down. Close that section up. And then on the specular intensity section, skip that one. You're going to scroll this all the way up. And then on the Fresnel, you're going to want to go to 75 for the emissive. And for the specular fall off, you're going to want to go to 69 for the emissive one. And for the emissive multiplier, which is going to make it shine more, I'm going to click 4. And then here's where we go to specular textures and click embed. And then we're going to click empty, so it's going to open up our file explorer. Go to desktops, and then wherever you have your chain, again, this is going to be wherever you have your chain files at. These are going to be your next most important files that you're going to need. These are going to be like the texture files that really make everything shine and glisten and dance and like that. So you're going to need this one right here, specular map. And this all comes with my packages, of course. And this is, I promise you, these are the best maps right here, so that make everything dance how you want to. I promise. Everybody gonna be love your chain. And then what I also did right there is after I went from specular map, I went straight to bump texture map, and then I clicked embed, and now I'm clicking in the empty section. And then in that same folder, we're gonna click full diamond map, and you can see how it's kind of changing right there. And we're going to go down one section to the diffuser texture, and this is the text. This is where you're going to put in the actual texture that you put in at Blender. You're going to reapply it right here at 3ds Max in GIMPs. So click embed again, go to empty, and my folder is right next to my maps folder. So I'm going back into textures, and then I'm going to, it was teal texture 2026. That's what it was. Open. Boom, and you see that your texture is applied. So now, again, we only have to change the bump texture, the diffuse texture, specular texture, emissive HDR multipliers, specular fall off, the specular frenzel, specular intensity, and the wind. That's all you're gonna have to change for pet emissive. So now go down to your next material. Click options. It's gonna ask you if you want to convert it to material. So GTA 5 material, so you can guess. It's gonna turn it pink. And now here's where we're gonna go ped and just ped because we don't want this to glow. So now we're gonna kind of do almost the same thing, but just different parameters. So follow along. The wind, we're always gonna put that all the way down to 0. And even though these ones look like they're at 0, you're gonna have to drag them up a little bit and drag them back down. So they go all the way down to 0, or else your chain will literally shake inside the game. So specular intensity, gonna move that all the way up to 1. And this is where it starts to get a little different, but just follow the numbers. So 0.45 for specular frenzel. Fall off, we're gonna go for 1997 on this one. And it doesn't have an emissive multiplier because it's not shining. And so now we're gonna go straight to specular texture, embed it, click empty, find our normal maps folder, and click specular texture, and then go to bump texture, embed, click empty, and then we're full diamond plate, and then diffuser texture. We're gonna put in our actual silver diamond textures now. Go back out here, and then textures, and go to full diamond plated. Yeah, boom. All right, so now we are officially done with everything and in 3ds Max. So now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to export this into that folder that we created earlier. Go to chains, and then we'll look for Malik. And we named it 3ds, so we're going to put it into this 3ds folder. Make sure this folder is empty, or else it will confuse you. And once this pops up, you press continue, continue. And now you just wait for your chain to export. It could take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, so kind of just got to wait it out a little bit. And while you're waiting, actually, I would open up OpenIV. OpenIV. I have it on my desktop, but you can also search in the search bar. And once you have it connected to Grand Theft Auto 5, you're going to want to click Windows to open up the Windows portion of it. And OpenIV is going to be used for converting the files so that the servers can read it. It's like the simplest way I can put it. Okay, actually perfect timing. It looks like the chain finished exporting because it was a small file. And now that we have that exported, you know it's done because it'll pop back up to here. Pop back up to this main screen right here. Now we're done. So exit out of that, and then exit out of that, and then you should definitely save it. All right. There we go. Here we go. Perfect. So now we have OpenIV, and now it should automatically open up to your GTA files, and you go to your mods or wherever you have your chain files at, and you just kind of go here, press the edit button so you can actually create new things and edit new things. So create new folder, and we're gonna call this Malik. So this is we're creating a chain folder inside of OpenIV. And then open up an older chain file, or again, once you have my packages, I will send you the actual files, the naming conventions of the files. But what you want to do is open up an older chain that you made, or if you already have the texture dictionary file, you just literally just copy the name teeth underscore diff underscore 013 underscore a underscore uni dot. You don't even got to do the YTD. So then you go back to the folder that you just created in OpenIV, and then it should be empty. You right click, and then you see new, and then texture dictionary. And then the name is the same name, so you just Control V to paste that in, and okay, boom, and now you have your texture dictionary. So now, again, after it's exported, you have to do this after it's exported. You can't do this next step until after it's exported. You can do all of that while it's exporting, but this one you have to wait until it's done exporting. So then you right click, and then above new and above add, you'll see import open format. Click that. Then go to your chain folder, and you can see something. I'm navigating to my desktop, to my chain folders. Now I'm going to go to Malik, and this is these are the files that we downloaded from 3ds Max. And we only need to click the ODD file, double click that, and then click Protect Mesh. You have to click Protect Mesh, and then click OK. Now we're finally in the home stretch. Now we're literally just going to rename it and then put it into our sandbox. That's it. So now that we have it in OpenIV, You can even check to see kind of what it looks like right here. It's not gonna dance like how it would in the real world, like in the GTA world, but we'll definitely be able to show that off as well. This is just to make sure that your textures are actually showing up, because sometimes the textures might not show up or something like that. All right, so now that's good to go. Now we're gonna go into the other folder that we created, the full chain folder, because this is where everything will eventually live. All right, and then now that we have both of these highlighted, we'll just drag them and drop them straight in there. All right, and then see, notepad. You should have this stuff saved somewhere, and this is again, this will all come with my package, and it even shows the parameters that you're gonna want for all of this stuff right there. So you can screenshot that right now if you want to, do whatever is needed. But I'll definitely be sending this along with the packages, because you definitely will need it to be just a copy and paste, honestly. And you're only gonna want to copy this first portion of it, the mp_m free mode _01 with the caret on top right there. That's all you need right there. Control C. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to rename both of these documents and add both of these files, and then add that to the beginning of it, append it to the beginning. So right click, rename, click right on your keyboard, and then Command V. Boom. And now that YTD file is done. So now we go to the next one, right click it, do the same thing. Click rename, click right on the keyboard on your keypad, and then Control V to copy paste that same thing, and boom. And now your chain is perfectly done, 100% done. Now you can send this. You can send these two files off to servers or server admins or server owners, and they'll be able to put it into the game. So now I'm going to show you what that looks like on my server. And this is going to be even bonus of how to add it into your GTA server if you already have one. So what you want to do is copy both of the files, because you're going to need both of the files. Both of the files equals one chain. Go to desktop and go to your sandbox folder, or wherever your sandbox folder is. It doesn't have to be on the desktop. I just put it there for sake of it being easier. All right, so once you're in there, you're going to click CFX server data. It's running a little slow right now, most likely just due to me recording. Let me see something. So we're going to go in here, click into our GTA sandbox. Click into the CFX server data. All right, and then click into resources. All right, and then you should have some kind of EUP folder. That's kind of how I have it set up, but whatever folder your male and female clothing is underneath. All right, then we're gonna go into the male EUP, because this is a chain that I made for a male. If it was for a female, you would have to switch up the naming convention of the file just a little bit, but not too much. And then double click stream. We're just traversing a lot of folders, so now we go all the way down to the bottom, wherever your teeths are, and you're gonna want to double click your teeth, which is your chains usually. I have it set up just like this. This is what I find the easiest way how to set it up. And then we can right click and paste. And now we're going to replace those two files, because I already have something in the 13 slot, but I'm just adding it into that 13 slot. Whatever number this ends up being is where it's going to end up in your server. All right, so now it's in my server. I can go back to this screen right here, which is just me going from the desktop, opening this up, and then scrolling all the way down to the F section, FX server, EX. It's gonna pop up the terminal, and then I will pop this open. Then you're gonna have to connect to your local host, and you can't connect to this until you start that up. So once this starts up, this will all be accessible. and then go to resources and start. And I'm just enabled I enabled all of my mail EUP. So everything that's in the mail EUP got enabled. And you can see that 13 did not pop up as an error or as a potential error. So that's good. And now we got to open up FiveM. All right. And some